We are introduced to Liu Shenxi. He is your average 18-year-old. He lives in an apartment alone as he is getting ready to start college. He is really afraid of the exams and he is not sure if he can get into a good school. She spends most of his time alone, but he is a man of culture. In his house, there are small toys of idols. These are his waifus and he loves them very much. Yes, Shai is a total loser if that was not obvious before. Shai buys a new phone and cannot wait to use it in the morning. He decides to sleep, but then something weird happens. He dreams of a goddess coming down from the sky and giving him some sort of power. When she wakes up, he is totally confused and by accident he slams his phone. Suddenly, his phone turns into a cute girl. This girl is weird, but she really likes Shi, which is new for him. Shai thinks that someone broke into his house, but the girl tells him that she is his phone. It seems that Shi, for some reason, turned his phone into a girl. This girl then jumps on Shai and kisses him. This is his first kiss, and it's with his phone. She cannot believe that he's kissing his phone. This morning is just getting more weird by the second. This mysterious girl that was his phone also calls him master, and she will do anything he wants. Shai is totally lost, and he cannot believe that the dream with the goddess was actually real. He now has powers. He tries to bring one of his wife toys to life, but it does not work. She and the girl sit down and talk. He decides that she has to have a name, so he starts to call her Nikki. Nikki loves this name, and she loves everything that Shai does. Since she is his phone, she knows all of his lewd photos, and also he can communicate through her. Nikki tells Shai that his mother is calling. Shai tries to end the call as fast as possible since it's too weird. Later, his mother arrives at the apartment, so he has to hide Nikki. He decides to hide her in the closet and hopes his mother won't figure out anything. For some reason, his mother has come to visit. Shai is now panicked and he cannot allow his mother to find Nikki. Nikki is hiding in the closet, but her shoes are still outside. Shai is now worried that his mother might notice. His mother was worried about him, so she decided to come and visit him. She grabs the shoes and tries to hide them. His mother throws one of his wife's toys to the ground and Shai leaps after to save it. His mother then finds the shoes that belong to Nikki and she opens the closet. Nikki is inside and things get weird really fast. Nikki calls Shi master, so his mother thinks that they have a weird fetish relationship. Shai tries to explain the situation, but it just gets more embarrassing and confusing. Still, his mother is happy that he finally has a girlfriend and is not just hanging out with his toys. Before she leaves, she gives him some condoms. Shai is now worried because his mother left him condoms. He does not know where to put them. By accident, he leaves the box lying around and Nikki starts to bite it. She has no idea what it is and thinks it's a candy. Shai realizes that she is hungry and so is he. He decides to open her mouth and see if she has human organs now. Shai realizes very quickly that Nikki has a body and organs of a totally normal girl, even if she was a phone. She gives her some food and hopes that she will feel better. Nikki tries to eat the bag as she does not know what food is. Finally, she eats some chips, but soon after a purple magic appears and Nikki turns back into a phone. Shai is now totally confused and screams her name in panic. She has no idea what he did or how to turn Nikki back into her human form. He tries everything but nothing works. Shai starts to form a theory. Maybe he has to recharge his powers overnight and then try again. Still, he is not sure how his powers even work. Shai decides to go to bed and hopes to see Nikki the following day. He lies in his bed, but he cannot fall asleep. He does not know what to do. He feels outward to do anything as he knows Nikki can see him even in her phone form. He decides to pick up his favorite blanket and fall asleep like that. It calms him down and finally she starts to fall asleep. Suddenly, his blanket transforms into a hot girl with a really big chest. Shai is totally flustered as this girl starts to hug him and she also calls him master. It seems that by accident Shai turned his blanket into a hot girl. His blanket in girl form is very attractive and she is also flirty. She cannot handle this since he has no rays with girls, so he gets really confused. He does not understand his powers at all. He wanted to bring back Nikki, but now he used his powers on his blanket. The girl wants to fall asleep and she wants to sleep right by Shai. Shai is very awkward, and since he has never been this close to a girl, it's hard for him. She also jumps around a lot, so it makes her chest bounce as she has a nosebleed all the time. The two try to fall asleep, but she wants to give this new girl a name. He decides to call her Beiji. Beiji also does not like when Shis-on comes along and hits her to clean up the desk. She makes Shi promise to never hit her. Beiji snuggles up with Shi, and the two fall asleep. Suddenly, Shi's powers activate once more, and Beiji turns back into a normal blanket. Shai is now totally confused, but his body feels really tired and he falls asleep. The following morning, he tries to figure out his powers. It seems his right hand activates the transformation, but he cannot figure out how it works exactly. He has breakfast alone and soon hears some movers next door. It seems some new people are moving into the building. Soon he spots a white cat and meets a small girl. This girl asks him to take care of her cat while she moves in. She starts to think about how cool would it be if he turned the cat into a girl. Yeah, this is getting really weird real fast. She has no idea what to do with the cat. They have some fun, but it gets boring real fast. He decides to give it a plushy cat toy to play with. The cat sleeps with this toy while she works. He still plans to bring back one of the girls and he wants to use his powers on his phone again. Hopefully this time he can meet Nikki again. The cat starts to cause problems as it starts to pie in the apartment and it smells horrible. Finally, Shy decides to activate his powers, but by accident he transforms the plushie cat toy into a cat girl. This girl is really young and she thinks that Shy is her big brother. She has no idea what is happening and he really hates his powers now. Mimi is the name of the cat girl and she explains that her owner also plays with her. It seems that this toy belongs to the girl that just moved in. Mimi is very cute, but she also acts like a spoiled cat jumping around. She tries to get her to eat some food, but she breaks her teeth and starts to cry. She has to make her feel better and also peg her ears. When she grabs her cat tail, she gets really tired. This is all very confusing and Shia has no idea what to do with a cat and a cat girl now. He has to hold out until the girl returns and takes back her pet. Mimi and the cat start to turn the house into a total mess. They have energy for days and they love to play around. Very soon they start to break things in the apartment. She has to jump around and rescue his wife toys before they are broken. The cat seems to love pissing She off. She finds something and then starts to break it for fun. Mimi is also just crazy and she does not stop. Suddenly Shy realizes that the girl is back, but he hopes she does not realize who Mimi is. When she opens the door, the girl falls into his arms and she seems tired. The girl is all tired and acting weird. She explains that she did not go to school and she got lost. Shy is worried about her and asks if he is okay. She does not want to answer any questions and just wants her cat back. She gives her back the cat and then the girl leaves. Shy then spots Mimi and she is not feeling well at all. She has no energy and soon the magic starts to wear off. Mimi turns back into the plushy cat animal and she is gone. Shy starts to cry cause he really likes having a little sister around. He has to figure out how his powers work and why sometimes this happens. He does not want to keep losing people. She starts to figure out more about his powers and he starts to write information in his journal. It seems that his powers have a time limit. Sometimes they have an effect on his body and sometimes they don't. He realizes that he has to wait for a while so he can recharge. The following day, he activates his powers and summons Nikki. She is so happy to be back and jumps on him right away. She gets all awkward and has to leave for the bathroom. Nikki enters and wants to help him. She really has no idea how anything works. Shy decides to take Nikki on a date so that they can have some fun, but she cannot call him master. Shy decides that it would be best if she called him brother. Yes, because that is not weird at all, going on a date with your sister. This man Shy is wild. He also has to explain to Nikki what a date is as she thinks it some sort of food. She and Nikki go into town to have their fun date. Yes, she is calling him brother and he is calling her sister, and yes, they are on a date. We have to just ignore that weirdness. The two of them go into an amusement park where there are a lot of fun games. They eat some cool food and have fun. Shay loves spending time with Nikki, and it's cool to see her experience everything. All of it is new for her. Soon they run into a lady that sells very fancy rings and earrings. Shay decides to buy a ring for Nikki. Nikki puts the ring on and the lady comments how they will be a cute married couple. Soon after that, the lady runs out with the rest of the money without returning the change to Shy. Shy and Nikki run after her, but she is too fast. Soon Shag and Nikki enter a street where there is a love motel and she gets all embarrassed. She notices that his mother and father are also on a date and they are in town. He does not want them to notice him and Nikki, so he hides with Nikki. He cannot believe that his mom and dad are just going on a casual date in this part of town. Nikki and Shy decide to go into a hotel to rest there for a while. They think it's a totally normal hotel, but it all changes when they enter their room. The room is filled with pink ornaments, a giant pink bed with hearts, and a shower. It's obvious that this is a love motel. She gets all embarrassed while Nikki jumps on the bed. She then wants to take a shower with him. Shay is now losing his mind and does not know how to act. Shay tries to make up a reason why he cannot shower in this place. He tells Nikki that he only showers in his own apartment. Shay realizes that Nikki probably knows when he is lying since she is his phone and saw what he does with his phone. Shay tries to sleep on the bed, but Nikki has to tell him something. She confesses that she has feelings for him and she wants to date just him. Nikki also really wants to kiss Shay. Shay accepts this and he also wants to kiss her. In that moment, the spell runs out and Nikki turns back into his phone. She now has to leave the motel while pretending that Nikki left before him. The dude that works at the desk is totally confused about where Nikki went. Shay realizes that he has to be more careful in the future. When Shay returns home, he starts to test his powers and he tries to turn several other objects into girls, but it does not work. He injures his hand while doing this, but he has to learn more about his powers. Soon he finds a message online. It seems that the lady who sold him the ring is searching for it. Shay is confused, but he goes to meet with the lady. He returns the ring and she returns his money. They talk and she tells him that he should date since he is handsome. In that moment, Shay realizes that this lady does not remember seeing Nikki. The lady tells Shay that he was alone yesterday. Shy then goes to that love motel and the guy there tells him that he was also alone, there was no one with him. Shy is now totally confused. It seems that the people around him forget about the girls when the spell lifts. Shy then returns home to take a shower and by accident, he turns his underwear into another hot girl. This girl tries to seduce him right away since he is totally naked, but Shy rejects her and kicks her out of the bathroom. This is his worst fear, being found naked by a hot girl. This man, Shy, is very confusing. She gets dressed and goes to talk with this new girl. She is on his balcony staring into the city. It seems that she really wants to explore the outside world. The girl explains that since she is underwear, she spends all of her time in the house or in the bathroom. She really wants to go out and see the outside world. She begs Shi to take her and finally kisses him on the cheek. She cannot resist, so he accepts and they prepare to go out. The two leave and go to the park. The girl really wants to explore the park and be there during the night. Shy decides to name the girl Gray, but she is not really interested. She only wants to explore the outside world. Soon they spot a vending machine and Shy buys Gray some soda. She is really confused but likes the drink. The two sit on a park bench and Gray wants to stay there the entire night. She does not want to return home. Shy tells her that he wants to return home since it will get really cold in the park during the night. Gray is able to convince him to stay and they fall asleep. The following morning, Shi wakes up with his underwear in his hands and an old woman waking him up. He realizes that he slept in the park and now he is embarrassed. Shi goes back home and realizes that now he can control his powers a bit better. Still, he cannot choose how the girls will turn out. The power in general seems very confused and randomly horny. Shy spots that someone is trying to steal a car in the parking lot. He goes down there and forms a plan to stop the criminals. Just as the criminals open the car doors, Shy throws his phone at them. His phone suddenly transforms into Nikki. Then she comes flying in, he has a mask, and he attacks the criminals. Later, Nikki and Shy see on the TV how the criminals got arrested. Nikki then wants to change her clothes as these are too formal. She comes up with an idea. They should go swimming together. Nikki has no idea what swimming is. Nikki and Shi go to the water park and Nikki is very excited. There's a lot of people in the park. Nikki admits that she has no idea what swimming is. Shy promises that he's going to teach her. Before that, they have to buy some swimming suits. They met a very attractive lady who is selling swimming suits. After trying on several ones, they pick out a couple's swimsuit. She gets new pants and Nikki gets a brand new cute swimsuit. Shy blushes as she's very cute now. The two decide to go and swim. Suddenly, they are met by a red-haired girl who seems to be mad at Shi for some reason. Sin is the name of the red-haired girl. She is angry at Shi for rejecting her when they were just kids. It seems that Sin and Shi were childhood friends in the past. They spent every day together and their parents were sure that they would get married in the future. Then Sin asks Shy if she will be his bride in the future, but Shi only thought of her as a little sister. This broke her little heart and she got mad at him and has been mad for the past decade. Now in the present, she is angry that he has a girlfriend who is even younger than she is. Shy tries to explain, but Sin tells him to take care of Nikki no matter what. Shy promises to be good to Nikki if they leave. Nikki and Shi have a conversation and she admits that she does not want to just be his little sister. She wants more. In that moment, the magic stops working and she changes into a phone once again. Shy feels sad since he also wants to develop his relationship with Nikki further, but he never gets the chance. Shy is sleeping as he is tired from all the crazy adventures. Suddenly, he gets a call from his mother early in the morning asking him to visit. She goes over there and she tells him the bad news. She has to buy a new car since her old one has broken down and it cannot be fixed. She tried to take it to an auto shop, but the cost is too high. Shy then comes up with an idea and tells his mother he is going to try and fix it. He then closes the doors and activates his magic. He turns the car into another hot girl and she is now just sitting there. She gives her some water and after she drinks it, she spits out some oil. She then tells Shy that she is feeling much better and that he can sit on her if he wants. This confuses Shi, as he has no idea what this means. The girl car calls Shy an idiot and she explains the situation she is in. She has been a loyal car for 15 years and now she is old. This means she will be replaced and the car will be destroyed. She feels tired and used, but Shi wants to help her. He calls a car dealer and finds out more information. It seems that even if a car is older than 15 years, it can still be used, it just needs to be fixed. Shy promises to fix her and turn her into a human when she stops working. The girl is super happy by this, and she now wants to leave and explore the world for a bit. Suddenly, Shi feels sleepy and he falls down. When he wakes up, the girl is back to being a car. He realizes that maybe a car was too big and his powers ran out faster. Soon his mother returns and he tells her that the car is fixed now. His mother also seems to remember Nikki for some reason. Shi finds this rather strange since the other people forgot Nikki as soon as she returned to being a phone. For some reason, his mother remembers her and Shy promises that Nikki will soon meet the rest of the family. She gets into the car and drives off to test if it's okay now. He then spots an injured cat living in a box on the street. Shi feels bad and decides to help out the cat, so he brings it back home. The The cat is injured, so he has to fix up one of her legs. She is super happy to have a home, and Shai remembers how fun it was to have Mimi around. Shai remembers that he has a lot of exams, so he has to get ready. He does not want to fail. Suddenly, the cat grabs his hand, and by accident, Shai turns his computer mouse into a girl. She is shocked and has no idea what just happened. The small girl is not focused on Shai at all. She just finds it odd that she is now a human. She has no idea what to do with her, as she's not interested in anything. He decides to go back to his college exams and check the upcoming results. The only problem is that now he has no computer mouse. He tries to talk with this girl and decides to call her Mousy. Mousy goes in front of a mirror to see her appearance, as she has never been a human before. Shai explains his problem, and she tells him that she can help him since she is a computer mouse. Before she helps him, he has to give her a massage. Shai is totally confused by this and does not know how to act. Mousy demands that she give her a message. He can choose the type of message, but she needs it. Shai feels awkward as he has never given a girl a massage, but still he has to get to those results. He puts Mousy on a bed and starts to massage her back and her legs. Mousy is very ticklish, so she starts to scream. Still, she enjoys the massage and decides to help Shai find his results. He can use her as any regular computer mouse. Mousy tells him to put his hand on her head and move it around. Shai does it, and soon he finds the results. It seems that he does not have to prepare anymore. He has passed the exams. Shai is super happy, and Mousy is confused by his joy. Soon Mousy returns to her normal computer mouse form, and Shai can continue his day. Some time passes, and he has to deal with homework for the summer. He has a lot of studying to do. Shai studies hard for hours, but it gets too hard and boring. Then he remembers his school days and how he always had his trusty pen with him, this white pen that was given to him by a mysterious girl. Shai realizes that maybe he can use the pen, turn her into a girl, and then she will do his homework. He does this and turns the pen into a hot lady with white hair. He decides to name her Limey and begs her for help. Lemmy is not in the mood, and she does not want to do free work. Lemmy will only help Shai if he helps her. She agrees to her terms, but Lemmy has no idea what she wants. She has to think about it. She then finally decides that she will not help him with his homework in the way he imagined. She will study with him. Shai is not too happy with this as he is tired, but Lemmy forces him to do his own homework. He focuses for hours and finally finishes his math homework. Lemmy is tired and she wants to sleep. Shai then realizes that he also has some biology homework, and he once more begs Lemmy to help him. Lemmy then jumps on him and tries to kiss him. She suddenly falls asleep, and when he wakes up, Lemmy is gone. Shai realizes that she left him a note, and in the note she reveals that she did all of his biology homework. Some time passes and she has to start his summer job. Originally he was going to help at the water park, but his teachers tell him that this job has been cancelled. Instead, he will work as a cleaner the entire summer. Shai is not too happy about that, but when he meets his boss, he gets right to work. His first day is difficult. It's super hot outside, and there is a lot of work to do. Shai then spots his childhood friend Sin with a boy, and he is being really mean. Basically, he is forcing her to date him. She gets involved and chases the idiot down. Suddenly, it starts to rain, so he and Sin have to take shelter in his car. Sin is all wet, and she asks Shai if she can dry out in his apartment. She takes her back to his apartment, and he gives her some hot water to make her feel better. He then tells her to take a shower, and he gives her some of his old clothes. Shai is very awkward about it, since this is the first real girl in his apartment. Finally, when Sin arrives from the shower, they have some time to talk. Shai prepares some noodles for them, and they sit down and chill. Soon after their meal, Sin gets up to clean the dishes. She also wants to help her since he feels strange that someone else cleans up after him. Soon his cute cat comes along and starts to tease Sin. Suddenly Sin falls and she has to catch her. He touches her shirt and turns it into a little girl. Sin is now totally naked and chaos begins. Sin puts on another shirt and Shai takes the little girl and they all sit together. Sin demands an explanation and Shai finally reveals all of it. He tells her that he has superpowers and he does not know how to control them. Basically, he can turn any object or clothes into a girl. Sin cannot understand this, but she realizes that the shirt she was wearing is now a little girl. Finally, she starts to believe and he begs her to keep his secret. Sin agrees to this, but she also needs a favor from him. Sin demands that Shai be her boyfriend. She is shocked by this demand and Sin goes on to explain. Her ex-boyfriend is a weirdo, and all the other boys keep harassing her. If she just pretended to be her boyfriend for her parents and for the other students, it would be so much easier. She has no choice, so he accepts this offer. Then the two decide to name the little girl Yai. Shai explains that the effects of the magic will not last for long, but it's better to give the girls a proper name. They all go to sleep to rest up. The following morning, Yai is turned back into a shirt and Sin plans to leave. She also regains her memory and knows all about Yai and the superpowers. After she leaves, she is confused. Why did his mother and Sin remember while the other forgot about the girls? She spends some time alone in the apartment when someone appears at his door. When he opens it, it's a small girl that lives next door. She explains that her TV is broken and she wanted to know if she had a spare TV. Shai explains that he does not have a TV in his place and the little girl is shocked and she leaves. She has a computer screen. Why would he need a TV? He's a poor student after all, not a rich guy. Soon after, someone else comes to the door and Shai opens it. This time it's a delivery for Shai personally. Shai opens the package and inside he finds an old TV that his mother sent to him. Shai tries to connect it, but it does not work at all. Then he uses his special powers and brings the TV to life. It's another beautiful woman and she explains that soon her time will come to leave as she is very old and used up. She wants to help this woman, so they decide to go and see the outside world. She and the two women go into town. For her, everything is new and amazing. At one point, she gets curious about a love motel and she has to take her away from that place. Soon they end up in a shopping mall and they go buy some clothes. This woman really wants to see some new clothes and Shai offers to buy them for her. After that, they go around eating delicious foods and traveling around the city. Soon they run into a cosplay festival and take some cool photos. After the day is over, the lady thanks Shai for giving her a fun day outside. She then turns to magical dust and leaves forever. Shai is sad since he lost another potential friend and he does not think he can get her back. Shai is now back at his apartment and he is sad. He looks at the photos they took and the dress he bought for her. They really made a connection and now she's gone. Soon after, she summons Nikki and also takes her shopping. Nikki is just carefree as always and Shai tells her that she needs to be more careful as the main female protagonist. Nikki has no idea what he's talking about, but she wants to buy some new clothes as well. Shai and Nikki go to the store and have some adventures there. Finally, he buys her some modern clothes. As the day wraps up, she gets really sad. He misses the TV lady. Nikki hugs him and tells him that one day he will see her again. The following day, she has a lot of work to do on his computer. He is tired and he forgets about the time. Soon he realizes that he is hungry and has no food in his house. He has to leave and shop. The problem is that he forgets his hand bandage at home. The situation is, she has to cover up his magical hand with a bandage, that way he does not activate his powers at random points. Now his hand is exposed and that can get dangerous. Shai runs into the store just before closing and he is able to buy some food. He runs back home but he is clumsy and almost falls down. He sees a couple in the park but tries to ignore them. Suddenly he slips again and this time his hand touches an apartment building. Now the apartment building is changed into a hot girl. The people around just see a giant flash of light and their entire apartment building is gone. Shai realizes that he made a giant mess and he has to fix it fast. The girl who was in an apartment building moments ago is also very mean. She blames She for everything and at first does not want to help him. The police arrive as they have to investigate the situation. They interview She and he has to pretend to know nothing and he tells them that this girl is just his sister who does not talk. After that, he begs the girl to help him. Finally, she accepts. Both the girl and Shai tell the people that there are lights in the sky and that aliens took the building. While the people are distracted, She changes the girl back to a building and leaves. He is so tired and he feels bad for causing such a mess. Next time he has to be more careful. Sin calls She and she tells him that she got a cool prize, a luxury cruise, and she wants him to join her. She is excited about it and he accepts. The following day he arrives on the boat and he is super happy to have a short summer vacation. Shai and Sin met up at the boat and start exploring. Sin has brought a lot of stuff, so it's pretty heavy. She tells She to not complain as he has to be a gentleman. Soon they arrive at the boat, but there is a problem. The boat is not ready to sail, and they have to fix it. The people on board are furious and think that they have been cheated. The captain tells them to rest up for the day and go shopping while they fix the boat. Shai and Sin start to explore the many stores on the boat. Soon Shin buys some stuff for herself and Shai decides to buy a small boat toy. When they return to their room, Shin starts to flirt with Shai, but he explains that there is someone he already likes. Then he summons Nikki so that the girls can properly get to know each other. Shin loves how cute Nikki is and she wants to spend time with her. Shin wants to be her older sister and Nikki likes her as well. Shai, on the other hand, finds it strange to have two girls he likes in the same room. Shin thinks it would be a great idea if they all slept in the same bed today. Shai can be in the middle. Shai thinks that is a horrible idea and he is not ready for something like that. He tells Shin that he will sleep on the ground. Nikki and Shin then go outside to watch the stars and the sea. Nikki has never seen the ocean before, so this is a very special experience for her. Soon after, two creepy guys arrive and start to harass the girls. Shin tries to defend Nikki, but the guys are too strong. Shai then gets involved, but they push him out of the way. With no other choice, Shin uses his powers and turns his boat toy into something powerful. Shin has turned his toy into a warrior lady. He is shocked that he can maintain two magical girls at the same time. Nikki is here and now this new warrior girl. The two guys start to harass this new girl and she asks Shai if she needs to attack. She calls him her captain. She, left with no other choice, orders her to attack. This girl for some reason knows martial arts, so she brutally beats up the two creepy guys. She is way too powerful and even has weapon upgrades. Shy is totally confused about how she could be so strong when he now needs to control her so that she does not scare the other people on the boat. The warrior lady creates a literal cannon on her hand and prepares to fight others. Shy tries to calm her down and tells her to stand down. She follows his orders. Shy then realizes that soon the boat guards will arrive, so they have to run away. When they arrive in their room, Sin and Nikki go to sleep and she has to stay awake with the boat warrior lady. She is very stoic and does not say a lot of words. It's a very awkward experience for Shy, but he has to hang out with her. She did help him with those creepy guys. The following morning, she wakes up to see Nikki gone as she is turned back into a phone, and also the warrior lady is now just a boat toy. He then spots Sin in bed and she is in very revealing clothing. She gets all excited, but he cannot handle it, so he leaves the room. Later in the day, Sin informs Shy that they will be visiting Japan soon and staying there for a few days. Shy is super excited and he cannot wait for that visit. He always wanted to go to Japan. Sin thinks that he is a total nerd because he is getting excited so hard. She then asks Sin if he also wants to hang out with Nikki since he likes her so much. Shy accepts this and summons Nikki back. Now for the time being, the three of them enjoy their stay on the boat. They go to massages together and also fancy meals. Shy really loves spending time with these two girls and he hopes the trip never ends. The two creepy guys who tried to attack the girls arrive once more, but this time it's different. They are sorry for their actions and they ask for forgiveness. It really does come in handy when you have hot babes fighting your battles. Soon Shin and Shy arrive in Japan. They first take a train ride to Okinawa and then they will spend 2 days there. Shy is super hyped about this trip and he starts to cry tears of joy. When they arrive at the temples, he wants to explore all of it. This is his dream come true. Soon they arrive at their apartment and Shy imagines Sin in hot clothes once again. He has to stop himself from getting too horny. He then summons Nikki once more and Sin comes up with a new idea. She and Nikki should take a bath in the hot springs together. Just imagining this makes Shi lose his mind, so he leaves. Nikki and Sin go take a bath together, and it's all new for Nikki. Nikki then notices that Sin has a larger chest than her, and she demands to touch her boobs. Sin allows it, but she screams when Nikki does it. She hears some noise, and he cannot understand what the girls are doing in their hot spring. The trip finally ends, and they plan to get back home. Since she has a cat at home, he wants to take a plane back since it's faster. The only problem is that he is scared to death by flying. When he gets on a plane, he starts to shake and panic. Sin cannot believe that he is this scared. Shy begs her to hold his hand while the plane takes off. She tells him to sleep it off since it's a short flight. Shy falls asleep and has a wild dream. In his dream, the plane is going down and everyone is screaming. He cannot believe it's happening and he decides to save everyone. He uses his magic hand and turns the plane into a hot lady. This, of course, is the most idiotic plan ever since all the passengers now fall from the sky. Shy then wakes up in a panic and the people on the plane ask him if he's okay. Finally, the plane lands and Shy is beyond happy. Sin informs him that her father will come and pick her up. When her father arrives, she gets scared. He has a scar and a very mean look. Shy then finally returns home to his cat, but there is a major issue. His entire apartment is a total mess and the cat is gone. She now goes into a panic. He does not want to lose that cute cat. Finally, he is able to find the cat, but his house is a total catastrophe. The following day, Shy is woken up by a call from Sin. She wants to thank him for the trip, and she tells him that she bought something for him. Shy is totally confused by this, but soon his package arrives. When he opens the package, he is in love as a new waifu toy. Her name is Tusky, and she's a maid. I know this is confusing for everyone, but Shy loves this stuff. He is so grateful for the gift, and he cannot wait to put up this new toy for display. Suddenly, his powers activate, and he turns this toy into a full-grown woman. He is shocked that he turned one of his toys into a woman. This is all he dreamed of. He decides to keep her original name, and he cannot wait to hang out with her. Tusky decides that since she is a maid, she will clean his entire house and make it perfect. Shy does not have a problem with that. This is a dream come true for him. Tusky starts to clean the place, and she does it for hours. Finally, she is done, and the whole place shines. The floors are clean, and the bed is made. Everything is so perfect. She starts to think it would be perfect to buy more maid toys and turn them all into his servants. This is a dream come true, having hot girls helping around the house. Before that, Shy realizes that he is really hungry. Tusky offers to cook him some food. Soon she realizes that he does not have a lot of supplies, so she offers to go to the store. Shy thinks that it's not necessary and she can just make him instant noodles. Tusky goes into the kitchen but soon screams out in pain. Shy arrives and finds that her hand got burned. She did not realize how hot the stove is. She helps her by washing her hand in cold water. Tusky blushes as her master helps her with her injury. Is this a start of a new romance maybe? After a great meal, Shy cannot be more happy. His apartment is clean. He just got fed by a hot maid. He is really winning in life. Moments after, she gets really tired and he tells Tusky that he wants to take a nap. Him using his powers really drains him, so it's no wonder he is always tired. Toshikime wants to be off service, so she puts his head into her lap and plans to tell him a bedtime story. She is really into this homemade thing. Shai does not like that, and he just wants to have a regular nap in his bed. Toshikime forces him to lay his head down in her lap so he has to listen. After a few hours, she sleeps like a baby. Tuska enters a toy once more, and his apartment shines because it's so clean. Suddenly, a goddess appears in his room. She is blonde, tall, and very pretty. She gets angry at Shi for sleeping, so she throws some water at him. She is shocked, and he wants to know her name. She seems familiar. At that moment, the magical goddess reveals that her name is Alice. She is the one who gave Shi his weird powers. Goddess Alice is angry at Shai about his usage of the powers she gave him. Shai at first does not remember her, but soon realizes that she is the goddess he saw in his dream. She now really wants answers. Why was he given these powers? Goddess Alice is not in the mood, so she throws a cup on his face twice. She wants him to call her my lord and to speak with more respect. She listens to all Alice says and respectfully asks her a question. Alice explains that he is a chosen warrior. She chose 2 other warriors. Shai does not understand anything, but Alice goes on. She explains that her clan created the entire universe and she is personally responsible for humanity. Goddess Alice explains that humanity will destroy each other soon enough and her 3 chosen warriors must save it. In that moment, Shai realizes that his power is not just to hang out with cute girls, he actually has to save the world. He starts to imagine himself as Naruto, a hero of the people. The goddess throws another cup of coffee at his head. She then uses her powers on him. It hurts a bit, but Alice explains that she just gave him a superpower upgrade. Shai wants to know more, he needs more answers, but Alice does not give them to him. He also wants to meet the other warriors. Alice teases him about wanting a romantic partner, but Shai tells her that he already loves Nikki. Alice decides that she has given him all he needs to know, so she vanishes once more. Shai is left confused and has no idea what to do now. She has a wild dream, but it soon turns out to not be just an ordinary dream, it's a vision. He is transported into another dimension and now he is floating in space. Only thing is he is not alone, there are 2 young people with him. They are the other chosen warriors, 1 girl and 1 boy. In that moment, Goddess Alice shows up and she shows them a vision of Earth. It goes from being a wonderful planet to a horrible rock in space. Alice explains that all of them have their set of powers and they have to use their powers to change the fate of humanity. They have to save it. Shai wants more answers, but she does not provide it. For some reason, she is hiding what they have to do exactly. Shai does not understand how summoning hot girls can save the world. Alice then reveals the final twist. Her 3 warriors have 1 year. If they do not change and save the world, she will personally delete humanity from the universe. Suddenly, Shai wakes up in his bed. He is now scared. This got serious really fast. Shai originally thought his powers were just a weird joke, but now they are serious. Suddenly, his mother calls him. She misses him and wants to have lunch with him. In the meantime, his cat starts to bite his bandaged hand. Suddenly, Shai decides to test out his powers. He turns his phone into Nikki. Nikki is happy to see her master once again, but Shai realizes that now his powers are different. He can finally control them. Shai wants to test out something on Nikki, and without any problem, he turns her back into a phone. In that moment, Shai realizes that the upgrade that Alice gave him worked. He can now control his powers. He is super happy, but he has to rush to meet up with his mother. He will test his powers later. He goes outside into the elevator. He gets into an elevator, and there is a weird drunk inside. Shai feels a bit awkward, but he just hopes the elevator will move faster. The drunk starts to scream about a woman and hitting her. He is totally out of his mind. Shai tries to calm him down, but the drunk gets aggressive with Shai. Without any choice, Shai decides to test out his powers even more. When he gets out of the elevator, he creates an elevator girl, a very scary one. The drunk is scared out of his mind as he thinks it's a scary ghost. He starts to scream, and after the elevator girl is done with him, he is a totally changed man and he promises to be better. Then Shi meets up with his mom who is driving him somewhere. The 2 go for a ride and soon Shi meets up with Sin and her friend. Sin is furious at him and she thinks that he is dating an older woman. Shai tries to clear up the misunderstanding. Sin literally thinks he is dating his mom. His mom does not help things that much. She is all sarcastic and explains that she only likes Shai because of his money. She then drives off and Sin calms down after she explains the entire situation. Sin then introduces Shi to her friend, a cute girl by the name of Tauzi. Shai is always happy to meet new friends, especially if they are cute. Suddenly, there is a bank robbery nearby and the girls get scared. There is a lot of violence as the robbers try to steal a car. Suddenly, they are hit by another car, but something feels strange. In that moment, Shi notices a guy wearing a hoodie and he seems to be using some sort of blue power. Shai chases after the guy. Maybe this is another person with powers similar to his. Shai runs after the guy, but he's pretty fast. Shai really wants to find him to learn more about him. He did just use his powers to fling an entire car at those criminals. Lord Alice did mention that there are other superhumans in this world and Shi wants to learn more about this one. He runs all around, but he cannot find the guy. Soon he returns to talk with the girls, and they are really scared. He calms them down, but soon Shay spots the guy with superpowers in the crowd. He runs after him, but the guy disappears once again. Shay and the girls then talk to the police. The police wants to know more about what happened. After they give their statements, one police officer looks at Shay and is suspicious. It might be the same police officer from the night before. Maybe he thinks there is something wrong with Shay. Shay then returns home and is scared by his mother, who has put on a facelift mask. She has to help his mother clean up after they have lunch. Then it's time for him to return home. While walking, he thinks about his powers and about what the goddess said. He does not know how to save humanity in just 1 year. He reaches a road and prepares to walk, but suddenly he spots a truck coming at him. The driver in the truck has fallen asleep and he has no control of the truck. She has to think fast, otherwise a lot of people could get hurt. He then sees a forklift. He uses his powers and changes the forklift into a girl with special powers. This girl takes his orders and she stops the giant truck before it can hurt anyone. The truck driver is also saved, and Shay is happy that he was able to use his powers to save someone. He returns the forklift to normal and then goes on his way. In the meantime, a mysterious woman watches him from the shadows. She seems to be interested in his powers. Shay tells the goddess Alice that he cannot force himself to murder anyone. He just does not want to be part of that if that is his purpose. He'd rather not have his superpowers than harm someone. Goddess Alice stands there for a moment and then smiles. She tells Shay that he has passed the test. She just wanted to see what he would say in this situation and how far would he use his powers. She never planned for him to become a destroyer of human lives. Shay is relieved that he can keep his powers and also not be violent. Still, he is a bit confused about what his powers do exactly. Is it just creating hot babes from objects, or is it something else? She also wants to know if there is another way to use his powers except for touching something. Alice then reveals the most hilarious twist. She has no idea actually. Alice explains that while she is a god, she does not have all the information. All the gods give a little bit of their power to select humans, but even they do not know what the powers will be. Basically, she still has no answers and no idea how to save humanity with his powers. Suddenly, Sin appears at the front door. She has come to visit him, and Alice is very curious about her. At first, Goddess Alice thinks that Shay is dating Sin, so she orders him to let her in. Sin is surprised that she has a hot woman in his apartment, and this will surely lead to a lot of comedic moments. Sin right away gets furious. She thinks that Shay is some sort of pervert, because he is in his underwear and there is a lady present. She starts to scream at him, but she finally starts to explain. Shay tells her that Alice is just his cousin that is visiting for a few days. They are not dating, it's nothing like that. Stin calms down and starts to look at Alice. The first thing she notices is her giant chest. Stin is a bit jealous, but she is now calm since she knows that Alice is Shin's cousin. Alice plays along and pretends to be a distant cousin, so Shay is able to save the situation. While she goes to the store to buy some groceries, Alice and Sin are left alone. It's a very awkward and weird since Alice does not know how to act like a normal person. She is a goddess after all. Alice decides to test Sin, so she starts to touch her face. This makes Sin blush and she is very confused by this entire moment. Is Alice kidding on this normal girl right now? Suddenly Shay arrives and the girls act like nothing happened. Shay then asks Sin why she came to visit. She explains that she got a call from a police officer, the same one who was at the crime scene, and who asked them those questions when the robbers were hit by that car. The police officer for some reason had more questions and they were about Shay. It seems that he suspects that she was involved in the robbery. Shay is totally shocked by this and tries to pretend it's just a funny situation. While he acts totally casual, he is a bit worried about that policeman. How did he know that she was involved, and how much does he know? After Sin leaves, Alice warns Shinga about that police officer. She explains that while he might not know anything, there is also a chance that he is someone with secrets and special powers as well. Alice sits Shi down and starts to explain some things to him. So basically, there are special humans that are actually pretty smart on Earth, and some of them can even detect powers. This police officer might be one of those humans. Alice then tells Shay that he has to be careful with using his powers so that he does not detect any more attention. Shay is then confused. How did the police officer already start to suspect him? It should not be possible. They only met once. Alice then explains that he met the police officer already. It's not just once. She has no memory of that, but we know that it could be that time he turned a whole building into a girl. Alice thinks that Shay is a totally idiot, but decides to stay by his side. Alice goes to bed and tells Shay that she will be staying in his apartment and working from there. She has to prepare meals for her and serve her basically. As the night goes on, Shi has a wild dream where all the girls he summoned jump on him and hug him at the same time. When he wakes up, Alice is there waiting for him and tells him to get ready for superpower training. It seems Shi will finally learn how to use and develop his superpowers. Maybe it can finally be of some use to him and the world. Alice is very determined to train Shay every day, but she does not want to reveal what type of training they will be doing. Shay is confused, but he lets it go. He is a bit worried that it will be brutal training since Alice can be very mean. Soon after, Alice and Shay sit down for a meal. Alice likes living with him and plans to stay for a while. For that reason, Shai thinks that they should tell everyone that they are cousins. Shai then remembers a painful memory from his past. He had his sister, actually. He tells this to Alice, and she is curious about this sister. Shai explains that his mother was pregnant, but their child died soon after birth. They cannot remember how, and Shai also doesn't. It's very strange. Alice is curious about this, so she summons a magical orb. This orb is a world record. Basically, it has all the information from this world. Alice tries to search for any info about Shai and his sister, but she cannot find it. Alice promises to keep searching, as she is also now curious about what happened with this mysterious sister. A few days go by, and now it's time for the superpower training to start. Alice takes Shai to a very popular bridge in the middle of a mountain pass. It's a tourist attraction since the bridge has a bottom that is made of pure glass. Shai is nervous about being around so many people, and he does not want to train here where there are so many tourists. Also, he hopes that he won't have to walk on a tightrope as part of the test. Alice then explains that the test is yet to begin, but it will happen here. Suddenly, there is an argument in the crowd. A girl screams that there is a pervert harassing her. Her boyfriend gets involved and starts to fight the pervert. The pervert pretends that the girl is crazy and he is totally innocent. He starts to hit the boyfriend and causes a scene. Shai decides to step in and help the situation. He tells the pervert to back away and calm down. Shai is then pushed by the old pervert, and his phone drops into the abyss below. Basically, she has just lost Nikki forever, the person he loved the most. Shai is now pissed off and he wants to deal with the pervert. Shai is furious, and he starts to scream at the pervert. He just lost a very important person, and the pervert thinks it's just a phone. The pervert starts to insult Shai for getting so upset, and he even makes fun of him. Suddenly, Alice notices someone in the crowd. He has a face mask, and his eyes are pure red. He watches over Shai, and suddenly she starts to act different. There is now a dark energy around him, and Shai loses control of himself. The mysterious man leaves in the crowd. Shai is now even angrier, and he grabs the pervert by the neck. He has no mercy and throws him over the bridge into his death. Damn, this escalated quickly. The people on the bridge start to run as they are afraid of Shai, and Shai is just smiling with a wicked grin. Alice then stops time and slaps Shai. Alice tells him that he just ended someone's life and that he broke his rule. Shai is now really sad and feels horrible. Still, he thinks that something happened to him. It seemed like he was not in control. Shai begs Alice to change this, and to help him, he tells her to rewind back time by 3 minutes. Alice tells him that this type of favor will cost him a lot. Alice explains that something like turning back time can be very dangerous, especially to the person who wants it done. She then tells Shai the main thing that could happen if he wants to do it. She might die when Alice reverses time. Shai is scared out of his mind, but he knows what must be done. He tells Alice to reverse time and let him save that pervert. Alice uses a lot of her power, but she's able to return back time by 3 minutes. Shai realizes that he is now in a different position on the bridge, and thankfully his phone is in his pocket. Nikki is safe and sound, so he does not need to worry about that. Shai then notices that Alice is very tired and in pain. She tells him to ignore her and go deal with the problems on the bridge. Shai then finds that old pervert, and this time he kicks him in the butt and calls security on him. Shai then has to carry Alice to safety as she can no longer walk. He is pretty worried about her. It seems that she was not in any danger during this spell, but Alice drained a lot of her power. When Alice and Shai return home, she just wants to sleep and get some rest. Alice then finally reveals something important. Shai did not act by his own will. Someone on that bridge used his emotions and made him go crazy. Alice reveals that there are other superpowered people on Earth, and some of them can manipulate the emotions of other people. She then tells Shai that it will take some time for her to recover from this spell. Still, she wants to know something about Shai and his emotions. She wants to know, what did Shai feel when his phone went flying over the bridge? Why did he get so angry, besides the manipulation from that superpowered person? Shai explains that he felt pain, pure rage, and sadness. He felt like he lost a part of himself. Alice needs him to further explain, does he have feelings for his phone, or Nikki as he calls her? Shai then finally admits that he does have feelings for Nikki and also for all the other girls he has created. He cares for them. He is not in love with all of them, but he cares for them. Alice then explains that his powers were not an accident at all. Everything happens for a reason. Shai got a portion of her powers, but it manifested in him being able to create girls from objects. Shai then remembers his past. He was alone all the time. His parents worked most of the day, so he had to spend time alone with his toys. As he grew older, Shai never had many friends and also was alone most of the time. This is the reason he can do what he can. He creates friends and loved ones from objects. They are girls because he collects wife toys, but most importantly, he has this power because he wants to care for people and have friends. Alice then tells Shai that she must travel to a different dimension for a meeting. Shai decides to take a bath to relax a bit. Suddenly, Alice returns, but she is covered in bruises and blood. It seems that the mighty goddess was in some sort of fight. Shai is really worried about Alice, and he wants to know what happened to her. Alice has to rest for a bit since she can barely move. She explains that she went to talk with the other gods and they beat her up. They were angry at her because she got involved with humans and protected them. Alice is now really weak and she needs Shin to help her heal. She grabs both of his hands and kisses him. She starts to feel really tired while Alice heals herself. Suddenly, Shay falls asleep and he is transported to a new dimension. Betty spots Alice in her goddess form, but she has a spear through her chest. It looks like Alice will die soon, and she asks Shy if he will be sad when she's gone. Shay is confused about this entire situation and he does not know how to help Alice. Goddess Alice is badly bleeding and Shy has no idea how he got into this dimension. They are both floating in space above Earth and Alice wants to know if she will be sad when Alice dies. She admits that he will be very sad, but he wants to find a way to stop this from happening. Alice explains that suddenly a human became a god and did this to her. This human must be horrible. Alice feels pathetic. A goddess like her defeated by some crazy human. Alice starts to cough up blood. Her form is failing. She's going away. Shat begs her to stay. He really wants to help, but there is nothing for him to do. Finally, Alice says goodbye to She and she disappears, turning into pure light. Shy then suddenly wakes up in his room and Alice is sleeping by his side. He has no idea what that vision was or what happened. Alice seems to be fine. She wakes up and she is totally healed. That must have been some strange vision that she had. Shy decides to go buy some food for himself and Alice. While he is out there shopping, Alice overlooks the city and is very serious. She cannot stop thinking about her question and wants to know what really happened in that dimension. Alice and She go for some lunch. Shy is really worried about the goddess, and he finally tells her what he saw in his dream. He explains that he saw her die and that he is really worried about her. Alice tells him that this is impossible. She is a goddess and nothing bad can happen to her. Shy is certain that he saw her die. She was not just injured in this vision. Alice is not worried at all, but she does wonder how come She has this new power. It's very special to see a possible future and She has developed this power. Shy is also impressed, but he does not want to focus and worry about it. He is much happier being around Alice. Alice teases him about caring so much for her. Shy explains that Alice gave him his powers and helped him a lot, so of course he cares for her. When they return home, Shy decides that it's time to spend some time with Nikki. They have not seen each other for a long time. He uses his powers and changes his phone into Nikki. They are so happy to be reunited and they hug. Nikki is then also introduced to Alice. After the two of them meet, they decide to have a fun day out on the town. Shy is very excited as he gets to spend more time with Nikki. He has really missed her. The trio goes to the market, and they start to explore the city. Alice is very hungry at all times, so she wants to buy some food while they are here. Shy remembers the first time he came to this place with Nikki. He bought her that ring, but now he had to return it. Nikki is super happy to be back here, and she wants to explore all the games and foods. Alice asks Shy if he's going to pay for all their food for today. Shy accepts this, but begs Alice to not spend all of his money. Nikki is a bit afraid of the food, but Shy explains it all to her and promises to protect her. In the meantime, Alice starts to pick and choose which food she wants. Soon enough, she has purchased a lot of food. Alice really likes to eat and also tortures Shy with her behavior. While she hangs out with Nikki, Alice gets lost in the crowd. Shy is really worried about her and starts to run around. Soon he spots her around some guys. She is just chilling and eating her food. Shy really got worried for a moment. Nikki, Alice, and She stop by a local cafe. Shy tells Alice to stick close to him. He does not want to lose her. Alice is just focused on her food and tells him to relax. She has everything under control at all times. Alice, while all-powerful, is also not experienced in the human world, and Shy thinks that someone might use her. She is also worried because of those visions he had. Nikki then tells Shy that the last time they were here, she had a pancake sandwich. She would love to have one again. Shy tells her that it's no problem, and soon enough they go to the food market. There they meet a professional cook, and he makes a pancake for Nikki. She loves it, and she is super happy. Alice gets interested in this strange food and demands to have her own pancake. Unlike Nikki, Alice wants some bananas in her pancake. This is an odd choice, but the chef makes it for her. The moment Alice bites into the pancake, she loses her mind. It's the perfect food for her. While they relax, there's a fight happening nearby. It seems that some dudes have started to harass a random girl. Alice tells Shy that it's time to use and test his powers. She hides behind a trash container and uses his powers. This time he orders the trash container to get revenge for that girl. Soon enough, the trash can is transformed into a girl that is here to get revenge and stop those horrible guys. Now the trash girl is ready to fight. She goes over to the disgusting guys who are harassing that girl. The trash girl tells them to back off, but they just laugh at her since she seems to be a small child. One of the guys tells her to leave before she gets hurt. He then decides to grab her by the head. This was his first and last mistake. The trash girl grabs his finger and breaks it right there. The other guys decide to step in and help their boy. They charge at the trash girl, but her power is just too great. She is basically a master martial artist. With a few leg kicks, she beats them up without any problem. Soon enough, the horrible guys are on the ground, totally knocked out. Everyone around the trash girl starts to celebrate her for being a badass. The woman that was in danger thanked her for the help. She now realizes that he cannot change her back while she is this popular. Alice tells him to deal with this problem alone. She's done cleaning up his mess. Shy and Nikki then come up with a plan. Nikki goes into the crowd and pretends to be related to the trash girl so that she can take her away. She thanks the trash girl and tells her that it's time to return to her original form. The trash girl does not want that and she runs away. It seems he is not ready to return to her normal trash-can form. Shy does not know what to do. One of his creations has escaped. They are also in a crowded market, so it's very hard to find her. Alice tells him to clean up his mess and to run after that girl. Shy runs as fast as he can to hopefully find the trash bin girl. After some time, he realizes he cannot spot her anywhere. Suddenly, he stumbles into a mysterious girl. This is the girl that was there when he used his powers in the past. They seem to know each other, but Shy is a bit confused. The girl tells him that she has somewhere to be, and she leaves. She is stuck and cannot move for a moment, but Alice soon arrives. Alice explains to him that since he uses his superpower to create humans from objects, he also creates a connection with those objects. This means that if he focuses, he can find them, he can literally track them down. Shy manages to focus and calm himself, and soon he sees a blue streak flowing through the crowd. Shy realizes that he has to follow this, and soon enough he finds the trash bin girl. She is angry with him, and she does not want to return to her life as an ordinary trash bin. Shy explains to her that this must happen. She is supposed to be here. The trash bin girl tells him to take responsibility. He created her, so he should adopt her. She is shocked by this idea. The trash bin girl is deadly serious. She would love to live with she and his other girls. She does not want to return to her place of work. She goes on to explain how horrible is it to be a trash bin. Nobody cares about trash bins. They are just there to collect trash. The people in the market often hit the trash bin. They throw it around and they never clean it. It's a horrible life, and now that she is human, she does not want it anymore. She understands her feelings, but he cannot have a trash bin in his apartment. Also, if he takes her, someone might find out, and he will have to pay a fine for stealing a trash bin. The trash bin is furious at Shy, but she does not want to turn back into her regular form. In that moment, Alice arrives. She tells Shy that Nikki returned to her phone form. Alice wanted to help her so that she does not get lost. Shy is happy that Nikki is now safe as his phone, and once again, he tries to tell the trash girl to return to her place. Suddenly, she gets a new idea. He knows a perfect spot for the trash bin girl, somewhere where she can enjoy life. Shy brings his group to a spa center. This is an ultra-clean place, and their trash bin girl can wash away all her troubles. Shy thinks that she could use a good bath, and this is the perfect place. At first, she is not very interested, but she is convinced by she and Alice. They all go inside and get introduced to the people working there. Trash bin girl is loving this place. It's super clean, and all the people are nice. Soon enough, they get their own rooms, and now they can enjoy their stay. She will stay in his separate room as he does not want to make things awkward. Alice makes fun of him for not having a girlfriend and also for being so shy. Shay starts to get angry at her, and he announces that Nikki is his girlfriend. My guy is dating his phone now. That is next level sad. She enters a sauna to relax. He is so happy to have some time to chill and wash up. The only problem is that he is around other naked dudes. This is a sauna for men, so it's Shay and a bunch of old guys. He imagines how awesome it would be to be in a sauna with pretty girls. His nose starts to bleed from just imagining that horny scenario. He hopes that Alice and the trash bin girl won't get into too much trouble. While Shay is chilling with the boys in his own sauna, we see Alice and the trash bin girl. They are exploring their part of the baths. The trash bin girl is super hyped, but also she wants to have some fun. Alice tries to control her so that she does not get into too much trouble. Alice just wants to relax in her bath, but the trash bin girl wants to play around. Finally, Alice throws the girl into some water and tells her to take that bath she wanted too badly. Later, they are joined by some girls in the sauna, and the trash bin girl says some dumb things to them. This is her first day as a human, so we won't be that mad at her. Even Alice, who likes getting into trouble, is not a fan of this type of behavior. Shay would lose his mind if he heard what the trash bin girl said to the other women. The trash bin girl keeps talking. She is now insulting Alice. She does not like Alice, and if she did not tell her to listen to Alice, she would already have left. Alice, on the other hand, is getting pretty annoyed with the little trash girl. She tells her that if she was not so important, she would never babysit someone like her. Some time passes, and they are still in the sauna with the other women. Trash bin girl is bored if she does not like how hot it is. She then decides it's time to torture Alice a little bit. She stands up and pulls out the towel that Alice has. Alice is now totally naked. The trash bin girl wanted to embarrass her since Alice has a giant chest. The trash girl starts to laugh, but Alice is in no laughing mood. She's pissed now, and she starts to chase after the little girl. In the meantime, Shy is finally done with his sauna, and he is glad to be free of all those old dudes. Suddenly, he hears that there is a giant mess going on. It seems that a naked Alice is now chasing after the trash girl all around this spa. Finally, Alice has had enough, and she decides to activate her powers, and time stops. She tries to talk with one of the dudes that works at the spa, but he is frozen in place. At first, Shy is worried that something happened to this man, but soon he realizes that Alice has activated her powers, which is never a good sign. Alice has now paused everyone around her. They all now stand totally still, frozen in time. The trash bin girl tries to return the towel so that Alice is finally covered up. Alice is now pissed and she wants to lecture the trash girl. At any time, Alice can just snap her fingers and the trash girl would be nothing more than a trash bin. The trash girl is now in panic mode and she begs for forgiveness. She is very sorry for what she did and what trouble she caused of Alice. Alice sits there. She has a smile on her face and she really wants to torture this little brat. Finally, Alice allows her to live and she snaps time back to its normal flow. Shy is happy that everything returned to normal. In the meantime, Alice tells the trash girl that they have a lot more relaxing to do in this spa, so they should better start ASAP. Shy and the girls all return back to his apartment. Shy is glad to finally be back home and he is ready for some much-needed relaxation time. The girls, on the other hand, are super hungry. Shy is still pissed off at the trash bin girl followed them back home. Shy told her several times that he cannot keep her. One of the main reasons is that she's a pretty big trash bin, so big it would not fit in his apartment and it would look silly. The trash bin girl starts to beg Alice to keep her. She promises to behave and be the best helper around. Alice finally comes around and decides to keep the trash bin girl. Shy is still against it since his apartment is too small. Alice then decides to handle that. She transforms the trash bin girl into a regular bin, just this time it's super small. It's now perfect for she and his apartment. It's a small trash bin that he can keep in his house. Shy is happy with this, but now there is another problem. Alice is hungry, and when she is hungry, she is cranky. Alice tells she to order some fantastic food for her. Suddenly, the trash bin moves and falls. Alice brings her back to her normal human form. The trash bin girl demands that she joins for the meal. She starts to scream and cry. She also plays the victim card since she is in a trash bin. Without any other choice, Shea orders some food for himself, Alice, and the trash bin girl. For her, all foods are special, and she wants to eat everything under the sun. They all stuff themselves, and at the end of the dinner, they are super tired. The trash bin girl demands that she take her for lunch almost every day. She has no idea how his wallet will survive all of this. She wakes up in the morning and he feels really hungover. It seems he had a lot to drink last night. Suddenly, he realizes that Alice is sleeping in the same bed as him and her boobs are touching. She loses his mind and quickly gets up from the bed. He then starts to remember what happened last night. Not only did he order some food, but he also ordered some drinks. Soon enough, the group got wasted. They drank and drank for hours. Alice started to cry about being a goddess. She explained that it's not easy at all, and it's all because of humans. She then said to Shy that she will turn him into her pet. In the meantime, the trash bin girl went crazy as well. She wanted to leave the apartment and tell everyone that she's a free person now. She had to stop her and explain to her why she cannot leave. If she left the apartment without him, she would return to her normal form. The girls all got even more drunk, and soon after they all fell asleep. Now in the morning, she tries to wake up Alice, but again, somehow his hands find her chest. Shay starts to bleed from his nose. This is too much. She is just too hot. Finally, Alice wakes up and demands to drink some water. Shay realizes that the entire house is a total mess. Suddenly, the doorbell rings and Shay goes to see who it is. When he opens the door, he is surprised to find that his mother has come for a visit. His mother is even more surprised when Alice shows up. The mother is now pissed off. She wants to know who is Alice and what happened to Nikki. Shay's mother was convinced that he was dating Nikki, and now she finds him with a totally different girl. Still, even his mother comments that Alice is beyond hot and very different from Nikki. His mother wants to know if he broke up with Nikki. Shay tells her that nothing like that happened. Then his mother gets even more angry as she now thinks that Shay is cheating on Alice. She has no good explanation, and suddenly Alice tells his mother that she is his cousin. Now this excuse can only work with strangers, but Shay's mother soon realizes that he does not have any cousins. Shay thinks that they are now in serious trouble when suddenly Alice uses her powers. She basically implants new memories in the head of Shay's mother. Now the mother remembers Alice as a part of their family, and she thinks she has a hot cousin. They all hang out, and soon his mother comes up with an idea. Shay's mother and Alice should all go to the shopping mall to have some fun. Shay's mother goes all out. She takes Alice and him on a whole trip. They visit various temples and places. They take a large amount of photos. For Alice, it's fun, but Shay is not the biggest fan of it. His mother also seems to be acting very different. She is caring and really wants to please Alice. They all go grab some food and have a great time. His mom forces She to eat a lot. Moms be momming. Finally, she gets a call and has to run because of work. Before she leaves, she tells She to take care of Alice. She also pets Alice on her head and says goodbye. Alice is very confused by this, and she stops for a moment. She gets worried that maybe the goddess is angry, but Alice explains that this is the first time someone touched her head this way. She is confused. He cannot believe that the gods never do that in their realm. Alice and Shay return home, and it's very clear that Alice is still thinking about that moment. She tells Shay that humans are very weird creatures. It seems that Alice is starting to change the more she lives with She and his family. This is a flashback story that takes place before Alice came to live with She. This is before he upgraded his powers. At this time, he still wore that bandage on his hand so that he does not by accident turn an object into a hot babe. At this point, Shay was still getting used to all of this. Then Then one day his mother arrived to visit and she brought him a gift. She purchased a leather wallet for him. She wants him to grow up and be responsible with his money. Shai at first did not want the wallet, but his mother forced him to accept it. After she left, the mess began. As we all know, she has a cat and she is not really a fan of the wallet. The wallet somehow ended up in the air and soon it landed right in Shi's hand. Suddenly, he changed the leather wallet into a pretty lady. This lady was very different. She wore leather and she was also a badass. She somehow had a lot of influence and she told Shai that he's going to get a makeover. They rented out a limo and went to a fancy dinner together. She also bought him a lot of different things, of course with his own card. She had to listen to her since she was a bit scary and also a lot hot. Finally, when she returned to normal, Shai was in big trouble. It seems that he spent a lot of money and his mother was furious, so she started to scream at him. Back to the present, we see Shi going to school. He meets up with Sin, and he is friendly with her. She has been busy lately with his powers, so it's good for him to be back at school and chill with his friends. After school, they meet up with Alice outside, and everyone is looking at her, and who could blame them? She is wearing a short skirt and a tight black shirt. Alice is very nice to Sin and wants to hang out with her. Shai is nervous about this since Alice likes to gossip and she likes to tease him. The three of them hang out and chill together. They walk around town talking when suddenly the ground starts to shake. People all around them fall to the ground and it's a pretty bad earthquake. Shi falls to the ground as well. Soon enough, he spots Alice and she's perfectly still. She's focused on something and is very serious. Suddenly, using her portal, Alice goes away. Shai and Sin get up and soon a terrible truth is revealed. Sid no longer remembers Alice for some reason. She remembers Nikki, but not Alice. Shi is worried that something might have happened to Alice, so he goes running to find out what happened. Suddenly, he gets a vision of that evil superpowered man with a hood. Soon Shai arrives and spots a giant car accident with many injured. He decides to activate his powers and summons a new girl to help him in this mission. She has now summoned a new girl and he needs her help, but he does not have time to explain. He is so nervous and angry that he hurts the girl's arm. Shai is very sorry, but the girl understands. She is in a police uniform since she was a device that patrols traffic. She asks her what happened in that car accident and if she saw something strange. The girl explains that something very odd happened before the accident. She saw a mysterious man walking down the street. He had an evil energy. Suddenly, this man threw a can at the girl in her previous form. He then went to cross the street when a car came right at him. The guy did not move. He was not scared at all. He just lifted up his hand and pointed it toward the car. In that moment, the car flew in the air and crashed into some other cars. She is shocked as he realizes that this person is very real. There is someone with powers even stronger than his, and they seem to be evil. Shai thanks the girl and turns her back to her normal form. He then starts to run in the direction she last saw the guy going. Shai is now really worried about Alice, and he does not want his vision to come true. Soon he enters some dark streets and spots blood on the ground and some keys. Then the worst happens. Shai sees Alice on the ground. She is injured and barely alive. Maybe his vision really is coming true. Shai is worried about Alice and tries to wake her up, but nothing is working. Suddenly, he hears a scary voice in the distance. Finally, he is face to face with the superpowered villain who has been causing so much trouble. Shai screams at him and demands to know why he hurt Alice. The villain just laughs at Shai. She wants to know if the villain knows that Alice is a god. The villain explains that he knows and does not care. He also insults Shi and Alice as well. Shai is now furious and he demands a fight. He stands up and calls the villain a scumbag. The villain is not like this one bit. At this point, we cannot see his face clearly, but only his red eyes flash towards Shai. Shi steps forward and decides to fight the villain. He's going to get revenge for Alice. Shi suddenly wakes up in a hospital bed. His head is wrapped up and he is injured. By his side is another friendly man who explains the situation. It seems that Shi was found badly injured in a street. He was taken care of and brought to the hospital. After that, he remained sleeping for 3 whole days. The doctors were ready to give up on him as they thought he would never wake up. The other patient starts to tease Shai. He thinks that Shai got into a fight over a girl. Shai tries to explain that it's nothing like that. Still, Shai cannot remember much. He just remembers an injured Alice. He cannot believe that he got injured so badly. Suddenly, Nikki arrives and she hugs Shai. Shai is happy to see Nikki and she explains that now she can remain in this form for a longer time. It seems that his powers evolved once more. They talk about what happened when suddenly the police arrive. One of the officers is the same one that thought she was involved. This should be good. The police officers arrive and they need to ask Shi some questions about the car accident. The cameras caught him running from the scene and there is a theory that he is involved. Also, there was a lot of injured people and one dead person. In that moment, Shai remembers what happened to Alice and he fears the worst. Maybe Alice really died, just like in his vision. Shi tries to explain the situation to the police officers. He wants to know if Alice is okay. Then one of the officers explains that he does not think Shai is a criminal. He might be a victim. The other officer is suspicious as he already thinks that Shai is an evil person. Finally, Shi starts to answer some questions, but soon a problem appears. Shai cannot remember anything. He remembers Alice being all bloody and injured, and he remembers talking with that girl who saw the accident. He does not remember the villain or anything else. The officers are surprised, but the friendly patient explains that Shag got hit in the head pretty good, so memory loss is nothing strange. The police officers decide that they will return at a later time to talk with Shi once again. One of the officers looks at Shi with rage, and Shai realizes that he is now in trouble. Shai and Nikki talk about the situation and what is happening. Shai really cannot remember anything no matter how hard he tries. Nikki then explains that she does not have a lot of information about his accident, but she did find a key. It seems that Shi was holding a key in his hand when he was found. Shai is confused by this and does not know what this key means. Shai tries to remember what that key means, but no matter how hard he tries, it does not work. The only thing that he remembers is that he found a key in the alley, but nothing after that. He asks Nikki for some information, but she does not know. Soon his mother arrives, and she was really worried about him. She is also angry at Shi for getting into an accident in the first place. Shai is really hungry, and while Nikki brought him some food, his mother wants to do even better, and she plans to bring him more better food. Shai is embarrassed since his mother treats him like a child, but it's nice to have someone who cares about you. The other nice patient thinks that Shai and his entire crew are a bit strange, but interesting. Shai and Nikki are hanging out while he is still in the hospital. The friendly patient loves to watch them since they are so obviously in love. Shai tells him to chill out a bit, and they all laugh about it. Suddenly, Shi's mother returns, but she is not alone anymore. She's brought private chefs to all have special meals made for all the patients, and even a friendly patient gets some delicious food. Shai is happy that his mother is going all out, and he loves this food. Nikki is also very happy. Shai eats a lot as he has been hungry for a while now. His mother is super happy that he is feeling better, but still finds a reason to scold him. The friendly patient finds his mother super hot, and he would love to be Shi's new father. She ignores him and continues to hang out with Nikki. That night, something odd happens. Shai is in bed when suddenly a nurse appears in the room. He cannot see her, but she asks him a very scary question. She asks him if he wants to live or not. Shai feels that he is in serious trouble now. Shai does not know how to respond, so he tells the nurse that he wants to live. She does not say anything, and soon after she leaves their room. Shai spends the entire night thinking about what just happened, and he decides to find out who this nurse is. There must be something to it, and he wants to know if this nurse also has powers of some kind. He tries to ask around, but the other patients have no idea what he is talking about. That same night, Shai waits for the nurse to come again, but she does not. Shai even asks Nikki to spy on this nurse and find out more information, but Nikki cannot find anything. She has been in the hospital for a few days, but he is slowly recovering. His memory is still a mess and cannot remember much from that day. Still, he spends his days with Nikki, so he is happy in general. He has yet to find out who that nurse is, but soon he realizes that maybe she was not talking to him that night, maybe she was talking to the other patients in the room. She also finds out that another nice patient in his room has liver cancer. He is not in the best condition, so maybe the nurse visited him instead of Shai. She meets this patient, and they drink some water and talk. The man is very nice and also very sick. Suddenly, she gets a phone call. It's Sin, and she is worried sick about him since he has been in the hospital for a while now. Sin is super worried about Shi since he has been gone for quite some time. She calls him on the phone and wants to know if he is okay. Shai explains the entire situation and tells her that she is in the hospital. Sin is now freaking out even more. When that accident happened, he just ran off, and she did not know what was happening with him. Now knowing that he is in the hospital, she is even more worried. Sin wants to see him as fast as possible, but Shai explains that it's all okay and that he is fine hanging out with Nikki. Nikki is also a bit strange. She's been in her human form for days now, and she is just not turning into a phone. Shai thinks that this is pretty strange, and he does not know what this means at all. After a few hours, Sin arrives and hugs Shai as hard as she can. She also promises to help him with whatever he wants. A few more days pass, and Shai is still recovering in the hospital. He is getting better, but he still cannot walk like normal. Sin is there every day and helps him with everything she can. She is truly proving how much she cares for Shai. While she loves that she is here, he is also worried about a lot of things. He sees strange visions of Alice and her warning about humanity. She knows that he only has one more year until everything falls apart for Earth and its people. Sin decides to take out Shai outside for a few minutes so that he can get some fresh air. While outside, she starts to get really worried about the future and about what happened with Alice. Also, he is still thinking about that nurse. The person who had liver cancer is now cured, and Shai is certain that the mysterious nurse did that. He has to find out who she is. Sin continues to take care of Shi. He has a long recovery ahead of him, and it's nice to have her by his side. At this point, Nikki has been on her phone form for a few days. Shai realizes that his powers are changing, but he does not know why or how yet. He tells Sin to leave and get some rest at home. Sin gets frustrated since she feels like he is sending her away. Shy thanks her again, and he explains that he just feels bad for bothering her. Sin decides to leave, but they agree to work on their homework later so that Shy does not miss much schoolwork. She gets ready to summon Nikki, but his friendly patient arrives and he just wants to talk about how awesome Shy is. He has so many girlfriends who want to date him. She gets nervous about it and he finally decides to move out in a new room. Now he's finally alone and he can summon Nikki at any point. When he summons, Nikki seems different. She seems sad. She wants to know what is happening and Nikki starts to cry. She tells Shy that she hopes he does not hate her. Shy is very confused by this since Nikki is his best girl. He wants to know what is going on with her. Nikki explains that these past few days she was in her phone form and she could not take care of Shy. Shin was the one who did all the work and now Nikki feels horrible. Shy hugs her and tells her that she is the best and not to worry. Nikki then tells Shy that Sin likes him for sure. Shy thinks that this is a silly idea. He does not believe that Sin likes him. He also tells Nikki that it does not matter. He likes her and only her. Shy wants to spend all this time with Nikki and date only her. Soon enough, a mysterious nurse arrives to help Shy. At that moment, Shy remembers her voice, and it's obvious she is the nurse from that night. The nurse works on his bandages and then tells him to strip his clothes so that she can check him. Since the nurse is of course very attractive, this makes Shy very nervous. The nurse leaves on after and now Shy has a working theory. This nurse must be the same one he saw that night and the same one who healed that patient. Shy and Nikki talk about the nurse and Shy thinks that the nurse also has superpowers like him. Shy is not certain if they can still trust her or if they should be very careful. Nikki agrees and Shy come up with a plan. Nikki will spy on the nurse and follow her around to find out more information about her. Nikki starts to follow the nurse and spies on her. She follows her every move. Nikki then reports all of that info to Shy and they talk about it. Shy wants to keep his distance for the time being. Nikki would like to continue her spy mission. She is really tired and her battery is empty. In that moment, the nurse arrives and Nikki turns into a phone. Now she has been busted, and the nurse knows his secret. She tries to explain the situation. At first, he acts dumb and tells the nurse that nothing happened. The nurse is too smart for that, and she calls him out on his lies. Shy, realizing that he is out of options, decides to be honest. He tells the nurse that he has powers just like her. The nurse is also busted. She admits that she can heal people, not hurt them. Still, the nurse does not trust Shy, and he needs to show off his powers. She cannot bring back Nikki since her battery is empty, so he decides to touch a pillow and change it into a girl. The pillow girl is very attractive, and she is there to serve her master. In that moment, the nurse realizes that Shy was telling the truth. Shy returns the girl into a pillow, and finally he talks with the nurse honestly. The nurse admits that she can heal anything, and she has been doing so in the hospital. She also explains that she has a very dangerous condition, which the other doctors have not found. It seems that the villain he fought broke every bone in his body in little tiny ways. This is not detectable by modern medicine, but soon his bones will break and he will die. The only way he can survive is if a nurse heals him. Shy accepts this, and for the next few hours she heals his body. After the process is done, she is tried and Shy is grateful. The nurse just makes him promise that he won't get hurt again like this. They also mention the goddess Alice and how she gave all of them different powers to save the world. Chengsin is the name of the nurse, and she explains that Alice also gave her powers, but they did not meet for very long. It also seems that other gods can give humans powers, so Alice is not the only one with a plan. Shy realizes that this is a much bigger story than he imagined. The nurse leaves and Shy knows he has a new friend. Soon after that, Shy tries to remember what happened to him that day. He talks with Nikki, who was there that day. Nikki explains that after she was knocked out, that mysterious villain just left without a trace. Nikki tried to call an ambulance for Shy, but also she wanted to return and save Alice. When Nikki came back, Alice was gone. She now realizes that Alice might truly be gone, and he will have to continue on without her. She, Nikki, and Chengzhen talk about Alice and how she is missing. Without any new info from Nikki, it's going to be difficult to find anything new. Shy is certain that Alice is alive, but he cannot reach her since she is a goddess. In that moment, the nurse reveals her secret. She actually adores Alice since she saved her life. That is the reason the nurse is now helping people. Suddenly, Shy's mother arrives and she wants to visit her son badly. Right from the start, she gets into an argument with her son about his cat Mimi and also about Nikki. Shy tells his mother that he will never give away his cat no matter what. She has a vision where he is floating into space. He sees the nurse, but now she is in a bed made of crystals. Soon Alice appears to him in this vision. She tells him that soon she will take over the body of that nurse. She is confused and does not understand what is happening or what this vision means. Nikki and Shy are going to the store, and there he runs into his childhood friend and her mother. Her mother wanted to arrange a marriage between Shy and her daughter. It's a very awkward meeting, but Shy is able to survive it just fine. When he gets home, Nikki and him cook a delicious meal. Nikki is cleaning around the house and having issues with Mimi. In the meantime, Shy is trying to find out more information about the villain that attacked him. Finally, he gets the idea to change his shirt into a babe and get information from his shirt. He does it, but the shirt girl has no information, so Shy has to keep trying. Finally, he has lead. summons Pants Babe to find out more. Pants Babe is very specific, and while she does not give him a lot of information, it's enough clues about what happened that day. After that, Shy decides to use his powers on his shoes. He summons the Shoe Babe to find out even more info. Shy wakes up in the middle of the night while everyone is sleeping. He goes to explore his apartment building after feeding his cute cat Mimi. Shy then meets a new kid that lives here. The kid is pretty weird, and he asks Shy all sorts of personal questions. When Shy returns home, he sees a kid failing down the building, so he summons a rope babe to save the kid. Kid was sleeping and walking, and that is the reason he fell. Now Shy decides to help him understand what happened that night. They are also joined by that other weird kid who just follows Shy around. After helping the sleepwalking kid, Shy just wants to go home and rest. Shy is just having an ordinary day. He is happy that he was able to save that kid. Kind of feels like a hero. Then suddenly one day he meets the mom of that kid. You guessed it, the mom is super hot, like stupid hot. Shy is so amazed, and the kid tells his mom right away that Shy is the one who saved him. She gets to know the mom, and he becomes a friend to her. She seems like a nice lady. Of course, Shy only has eyes for his best girl, Nikki.